You know, for 32 years, Americans have set aside the month of February to celebrate the historic contributions of African Americans. But over time, it's become a source of debate within the black community and beyond, really. Black History Month humbly started as Negro History Week back in 1926. Cultural and educational icon Dr. Carter G. Woodson wanted to create a deeper understanding and awareness of blacks in American history by establishing what he called Negro History Week at that time. He chose February because of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln's birthdays. But by 1976, Black History Week had expanded to include the entire month of February. More than 30 years later, some African Americans are criticizing Black History Month as nothing more than an annual recycling of slavery and civil rights, and they say it's become way too commercial. There was a poll conducted on this in January. They wanted to get a sense of how Americans feel about Black History Month. 43% thought Black History Month is just a token gesture, while another 39% say it's a chance to raise awareness of African American history, and another 18% said they just weren't sure. This poll raises an important question over the continued relevance of Black History Month, and that's what we want to talk about now. Joining me to hash out the conversation is Sylvia Cyrus, Executive Director of Association of the Study of African American Life and Culture. That's an organization founded by Dr. Carter G. Woodson in 1915 and a current promoter of Black History Month. And also joining me is Dr. Sarah Willie, who's author and Associate Provost and Associate Professor of Sociology at Swarthmore College and a critic of Black History Month. And so, Professor Dr. Wiley, I want to start with you. Does Black History Month further segregate the African American community from the wider American community, in your opinion?
Oh, I don't think so at all. When I say I'm a critic, I just mean that I want Black History Month to go further. I think it's very relevant, and I'm looking forward to seeing Black history, Black sociology, Black psychology, Black literature, and the arts studied all year long, as well as the other cultural groups that have contributed to American culture.
Well, does Black History Month offer a convenient excuse to America to ignore the history and the culture and the needs of the African American community in the other 11 months of the year by not making it more expansive and inclusive throughout the entire calendar year?
That's always a possibility and a risk, in the same way that the celebration of Martin Luther King Day has become an excuse for many corporations to offer sales and give school days off, rather than really taking the hard and thoughtful look at his legacy, where he was when he died and where we are now. So that's always a risk when you set aside a particular moment in time to focus on a group of people and their history and their complex
and their culture.
Yeah.
Sylvia Cyrus, has it become too much of a sale in some ways and too commercial in others? Certainly that type of criticism has lingered for some time now.
Well, I think when it comes to commercialism, that is something that's not limited to Black History Month. I often use the example of Independence Day. The 4th of July is a very important part in American history, but there are 4th of July sales, there are sales and commercialism that have surrounded every holiday, including the religious holidays. It's part of our culture. We try to work through it, but that does not eliminate the fact that by acknowledging Black History Month, that it is a very important time in American history to look at the contributions of African Americans as other cultural groups have done.
Dr. Cyrus, let me stay with you on this just for a minute, though, because there have been some very prominent figures, Morgan Freeman, Dr. Bill Cosby, and others, who have gone as far as to call Black History Month ridiculous at this point, or insulting, that it would be, our history would be relegated to just a couple of days out of the year. Others have said that if we're going to do Black History Month, why not White History Month or Asian History Month, Hispanic History Month, and so forth and so on. You see the idea. How do we combat that in this day and time?
Well, if the question is to me, I will tell you that in our history of America, there has been a time when there was an attempt made at American History Day. Many of us do not know it because it really was not a successful event. Morgan Freeman and others have made comments, and I respectfully accept their comments, but there is no question that the relevance of Black History Month and the recognition of this celebration is very important to this nation, particularly when you look at just the civil rights movement. The history of African Americans in this country have been the building block of civil rights movements all over this globe. And if you look at any movement as it relates to civil rights, you'll always have individuals that will come back and look at the struggles of African Americans. And so it's a challenge for us, there's no doubt, but it is something that we need to do.
And Dr. Willie, I want to give you the final word on this. We know it's a challenge. How would we begin to move beyond just making it 1 month in a practical way and making it more inclusive all year round?
Oh, I think that's up to each of us. I think when we're part of organizations that we should invite speakers, and not just people who celebrate, but people who really study the culture of African Americans. And there are months to celebrate the other ethnic groups of the United States. So I think I just want to end by saying when those people say it's ridiculous, they're not saying that Black history is ridiculous. They're saying that limiting the interrogation and the history and the thoughtfulness to 1 month is ridiculous. And they're right. We should do it all year long.
Okay, well, we'll leave it there. Again, it's not a new discussion, but it's always timely. Dr. Willie and also Sylvia Cyrus, thank you both for sharing your time and your thoughts on this very important topic. Thank you.
Thanks, Art.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. We'll be right back with more after this.